Hello and welcome to the Meeple People podcast. My name is Sam.
And I'm Jamie. Hey, howdy, hey.
Today, we're going to be talking about co-op games. Games you play with your friends as a group together.
Yeah, or you might play together against the game, or you might play against one other person.
Lots of different options, and we're going to cover a lot of them. Maybe all of them. Probably not. But first...
The news. Hit that tune.
So straight into the news.
Right, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I will. And so, as always, it won't be the Meeple People podcast without talking about everyone's favourite game, Monopoly.
I don't know how we keep getting back onto this.
So Monopoly is in the news, and this is for their, 50th anniversary, 100th anniversary, some birthday of Monopoly, and they're doing a let's vote for the tokens. You can choose what tokens you want in the game. So forget the iron, the hat, the battleship, the
boot,
the dog. Forget all of that. Vote for your own.
Okay.
I voted for mine. There's 50 possible choices. Today, Jamie, I invite you to vote on their website. You can
cannot wait.
You can go to votemonopoly.com. There are 9 days, 7 hours, 7 minutes and 40 seconds left of time of recording to vote for your own tokens. This is quite exciting, I think, in the world of Monopoly. It's something new, changing it up a bit.
Monopoly, I mean, it's probably more than 50 years. I think it's about 70, 80 years almost. So there's going to be tons of... Right, okay. Right. So here we are.
So when you go to the website, you're presented with a house. Mm-hmm. And... full of shelves of what you want to choose. And you can choose 8 tokens, Jamie.
8 tokens, right. So what do we have? We have the cat.
The cat is... I don't know if you know anything about the cat. So the cat is now a standard Monopoly piece.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Do you want to keep any of the standard tokens, Jamie?
I don't know. I'm just going to say... So we have the cat. We have the little Scotty dog.
The thimble.
We have the thimble, the classic thimble. The car.
The boat.
The boot.
The hat.
The wheelbarrow?
That's a wheelbarrow.
That is a wheelbarrow. I didn't know that was that. The... gold scooter.
All of the rest are gold now, by the way.
Oh, sorry, the rest are gold. Okay, so these are...
So we've got scooter, sunglasses, horse, what is that? It's just a...
At least it's just a wheel. Just a wheel.
Do you like the wheel? You're not going to add it in? There's better stuff. We've got a mobile phone, a key, hashtag.
Oh, Jesus.
Got the hashtag. Typewriter. That's quite a nice one.
That's not bad.
A money clip. I don't know. No, it's crap.
With the big Monopoly.
A
life preserver or a life belt.
Jet ski.
A jet ski, a surfboard, a yacht, a sailboat.
A campfire. That's quite nice.
Fire. Just a fire.
Something you'll love. A T-Rex.
Yep, sold.
We're selecting it. Jamie's first locked-in piece is the T-Rex. And this is just to change it up. This is to put a fresh bit of modern times.
But they've already done so many modern things.
21st century Monopoly.
No, they've done modern things with Monopoly. They already did it with bank cards. They're doing it with... There's one I've seen where you can buy... not properties, of course you buy properties. You buy brands, and was it Monopoly Empire? You buy brands like Microsoft and Packard Bell and McDonald's, and then you use it to build up a business empire.
I want to give it a go.
I don't. We're still gonna play bog standard Monopoly. We still haven't done that.
Next Monopoly piece.
Is it
TV?
TV? No.
The computer.
No.
It's got a keyboard as well. It's quite nice.
That's bad.
The trumpet.
Since I play trumpet, I'm going to have to say yes.
It's going in. The gramophone. It's a nice piece.
Oh, classy. Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
Going in. We've got 3 out of 8. Yeah. The plane. It's pretty boring.
Plane, no.
The beach. No.
No.
Roller skates.
No.
A bicycle.
No. Yeah, I'm not fun.
Motorbike.
That's kind of cool, but no.
Helicopter?
Yes.
It's going in. The camera.
No.
Monster truck.
No.
The race car. The city boat.
City boats.
The tortoise.
Yes, tortoise.
The race car.
God, no.
A watch.
No.
Cufflinks.
My God, no.
A wink face emoji.
Good Lord, no.
A rotary phone. That's nice. It's classy.
For the classic, I will say yes.
Going in. Thumbs up emoji.
Lord, no.
The cowboy hat. That's nice.
I do like the cowboy hat.
Maybe?
Maybe.
Select it for now?
Yeah.
The bow tie.
No.
Bunny slippers.
No.
Cowboy boots.
Classy, but no.
Tennis shoe.
No.
Shoe.
No.
Flip flop.
No.
It's a great. The rain boots.
What is this? The foot fetishist
welly.
Monopoly? No, I'm all right.
Pocket watch. That's nice.
I love that. Classy. Go.
It's going in?
Yep, going in.
Ducky.
Ducky? No.
Currently, your voting list is full. So if you see anything,
I'd say Ducky might be all right.
Ducky might be all right.
Maybe.
It's going in. What would you like to replace with Ducky?
Man.
I would vote for the helicopter to go. But that's
Yeah, no, actually,
that's just
I'll
me.
agree with you. Helicopter, yeah.
Helicopter's gone. Ducky.
Go back.
Ducky is going in.
Where is Ducky? There it is, on the back.
There it is. So yeah, there's a lot to choose from, as you can hear. We're almost done selecting Jamie's. So the last ones we got is a penguin. My favourite, sliced bread.
Oh my god, yes, best thing.
Sliced bread going in.
Oh, hey, Digby.
Yeah, we might do some little random side notes. That's because this week we are streaming live to
Yes.
Facebook. This might be a regular thing now,
We
depending on
might-
this,
no, we'll
how this goes. It's quite fun.
It's all right, yeah. We've managed to get the initial technical problems sorted out.
Check out our Facebook page at Meeple, the Meeple People Podcast.
Yep.
And you can see this every now and again. I suppose we'll probably say when we're going to record, so you can come and join us live on the stream.
Yeah.
But hi everyone on the stream.
Hello there.
If you want to comment, please comment.
If you want to send in anything, send us it at meeplepeople.podcast
And
at
if you've
gmail.com.
just joined us on the stream, we're choosing Jamie's Monopoly pieces. It's quite good. We've got lots of emojis here. We've got the Mr. Monopoly emoji.
No, right, you know I hate emojis.
No
This is
emojis.
No.
Okay, a fish,
No, I'm all
a
right.
rabbit,
No.
and a cock. It's a rooster. Cockerel.
For the comedy. No, I'm all right.
Okay, so we're done.
Is that it?
Jamie's Monopoly, his perfect game of Monopoly, includes the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the trumpet, the gramophone, the tortoise, the rotary telephone, the cowboy hat, classy, pocket watch, and the rubber duck. We're submitting this vote.
Yeah.
Submitting this vote.
Part of me was wishing I put some kind of vehicle in there, but I thought, sod it. Rather work on a T-Rex.
You could ride a giant tortoise. You could ride a T-Rex. It's all good. Giant rubber duck does exist.
It does, and it keeps blowing away.
There you go. Well, I'm clicking vote, but
It's
not
all
much
right.
is happening.
It's
Not much
buffering.
is happening.
Anyway, yeah, we still need to make good on our promise from the first episode and actually play a game of Monopoly.
We do.
We just haven't had the time. I'm now back at uni and I'm stressed out my eyeballs, but we'll
play a
do
game
it
of
soon.
Monopoly
Yeah,
sometime. It'll be fun.
absolutely.
So, that's my piece of Monopoly news. Really, the winners will be announced on World Monopoly Day. Who knew that was a thing? It's the 19th of March, and the updated game will be hitting the shelves in August.
The updated game.
Everyone, where did sliced bread go? Oh, that's a shame.
Oh.
Well, it's not letting me vote anyway, so hey ho. There you go. That's your vote down
Guess
the
I might
drain.
do it again. Go out and vote for it. Put sliced bread in because we want sliced bread. It's the best thing since
Monopoly. Ooh. Right, next piece of news, and
Yes.
it's one I'm very excited about. Go
It's
for it.
me. Yes, Days of Wonder. Those wonderful people behind wonderful games that come out every year.
Very, very wonderful games.
Well, some are better than others. I'll freely admit. I haven't played Five Tribes, which is a chagrin to Sam.
It's a beautiful game.
But things like Ticket to Ride. Oh, Ticket to Ride. Small World. Quadropolis, which you have and we did play recently, and
All
I very
versions
much
of
enjoyed.
Small World.
Yes,
They recently enjoying their Small World River World expansion.
yes, which you posted on the Facebook page. I've played it a little bit, and I thoroughly enjoyed it more than original
I think it's a
Small
nice
World.
expansion. For the price, it was around £25, and for that you don't get a whole lot in the box. You get some new maps, which is the main thing I really enjoy about that. You get new maps that just add to the game. I think it's just nice to have something new for the game.
Yeah, a new variation.
Not always looking at the same board, saying, how about changing it up a bit? And you've got the river in there from Small World Underground, and it's just a nice kind of addition to the game. Nice. Is it worth the £25? I don't know. That's like you could buy a whole game for that price.
You could buy 3 or 4 Rhino Heroes.
There you go.
I'm just going to say that. But yes, Days of Wonder famously are now pretty much bringing out a game every year.
One game a year, 1 or 2 games a year.
One or two games. It's usually one game and then a couple of expansions.
But they are gorgeous games. They put a lot of emphasis on component quality.
The components look gorgeous. The rules are simple with a good layer of depth, and I think it's accessibility they want to go for as well, which I like. But yeah, they're releasing this year. They've announced in March their new game, Yamatai, and I might be saying that wrong.
And it's from Bruno Cathala,
who I really like,
and Mark
Paquin.
I personally don't know things he's done before. Bruno Cathala is a great board game designer, and this game looks gorgeous, like all Days of Wonder games, but it just seemed that they are just getting better and better.
So the setting is I think it's the province or old kingdom in Japan of Yamatai, which was ruled by Queen Himiko. And Queen Himiko has tasked every builder in the kingdom with a prestigious mission. Build the capital of Yamatai and make it the jewel of the archipelago. There we go, archipelago. Your task, surpass your competitors and build the most prestigious city of them all, using resources from the fleets that travel through the kingdom. Prepare your strategy, recruit specialists, and do whatever is necessary to become the best builder and be rewarded by Queen Himiko.
It looks gorgeous.
Yep.
It looks...
It's got a very, as the may suggest, it's got a very kind of old-style Japanese theme.
You say that, like the theme is, but the actual design of the game is
very modern,
very vibrant,
yes,
very up to date. Really, Days of Wonder.
The style is all Japanese, but the look is very vibrant. You've got lots of resource management in it, so you have 5 different types of resource, which are bamboo, wood, clay, stone, and gold. And they've all come, lots of lovely looking tiny little resources. They've got their own colour, they look beautiful.
I would love to point out, I love the money in this game. I don't know if it's points or it's a commodity that you trade with, but they've got the square holes through the middle of them.
Which, if anyone's ever played Tokaido, is the same thing. They've got the old circular mine with the little square hole in the middle.
And it's just that, not necessarily attention to detail, but bothering to do it and actually being able to do it, I suppose.
I'm very much looking forward to it because I know that the
2 to 4 players.
I believe it's 2 to 4. Yes, it's we've been told it's going to be released around March time, or it's going to be up for selling around March time. So I've pre-ordered it, and I'm looking forward to it. I like Bruno Cathala. I like Days of Wonder. This has got some good.
I always look forward to their games. Like.
Sam has a Days of Wonder shelf on his in his gaming shelf.
It's not loads of games. It's just about 3 or 4 different Days of Wonder games.
4 games, 4 or 5 games, and
most of
3 or 4
small
expansions.
World. Most of it is small world.
Although I do actually want to talk very quickly about hype for a second. And to answer the question that Ross just asked in the live stream, how many pieces do you need for a game of Monopoly? I would say there's 8 pieces, but I would assume it would be
4,
6. Well, no, because originally you had
how many players?
Well, no, originally you had the dog, the boat, the car, the shoe, the top hat, and the iron. I'm going to say 6, but I'm guessing they could switch to 8 because they're updating it. So
apparently, Monopoly is now a 2 to 8 player game.
Now it's 2 to 8. Blimmin' heck. Right, okay, so there we go. There are the 8. That makes sense. Old school was 2 to 6. There we go.
Old school
Monopoly.
No
tradition.
school like the old school.
That's another conversation for another day. But yeah, I wanted to talk very quickly about the dangers of hype. Just because, it's like, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be great. I have learned recently the dangers of hype, especially with regarding board games. Mm-hmm. Now, you remember in the first episode, Sam and I talked about a game, Star Trek Ascendancy.
Ah, yes.
Yes, it's a game by Gale Force 9. It's a 4X game in the Star Trek universe. You're playing the 3 main races, the Federation, the Klingons, and the Romulans. Now, since that broadcast, I've played 2 games. Sam has played 2 games.
Played 2 games,
yeah. because we played each...
I played the first one, you went there, and then we played one together, yeah.
Yeah, which is the second one, and I played a third one. I've now played 3 times, and as you know, if you've a long-time listener, 2 podcasts ago, I was really excited for it. It sounded great.
And I was really excited for it. I had a really good experience at the beginning of the game.
And then I played it. And I won the first one with almost no player interaction.
Now, your first game was my second.
Yes. And I was the Federation. So the strategy was I pretty much gained culture. I sat there. I didn't really get any... didn't really have any interaction. And I pretty much won. I think towards the very end of the game, Ross, who was playing the Klingons, we made contact. We sat and didn't go at each other for a while. But then At the very end, he went, "Oh crap," and tried to attack me.
Now, you see, I played that game as the Romulans. I played both games I've played as the Romulans. And in that second game especially, it was, 3 hours, 3.5 hours?
3.5, 4
game.
hours.
I played that game on my own with absolutely no interaction from other players.
My argument would be that's entirely your choice. And to be fair, you got a really bum hand with initiative.
Yes, it's my choice. However, I'd say the alternative to going out and finding other players would have actually impeded me in the game.
Potentially.
And there was no benefit to going and looking for other people, because that means you can just come over and kill me and just do whatever you want to me. And actually...
Absolutely. So I won the first game. I'm not disagreeing with you. I won the first game, and there was a bit of kind of, from what about a phrase, saltiness going on around the table, a little bit.
Yeah. I
was a little bit kind of downhearted. I was like, oh, I won, but it was all right. You know, it was an okay game. It was okay. I rolled well/badly, depending on your opinion, because you kept losing ships.
Yeah.
Because I kept rolling 5s and 6s, which is something I've never really done. So I went away. I didn't feel great about it, and I thought about it for a while and was like, "It's all right. There's some issues about it. It doesn't seem like you need to interact to win." But then again, I was a federation, so it's not a big issue. And then I played it again. I played it with our friends Ross and Richard. This time I was the Klingons, Richard was the Federation, and Ross was the Romulans. And I nearly won that time. I had 5 ascendancy tokens, which you need to win, which you can get by spending culture. I had 5. Ross then came across, took my home planet, therefore I couldn't win. Richard got pretty angry. Oh, not angry, he just got annoyed. It's fair enough.
Salty.
Some would say salty. And he ended up winning because he had enough to win and Ross couldn't do very much. I don't remember exactly because I kind of blocked it from my mind. Either way, it made me realise, up until the point where I'd pretty much won,
yeah,
I had not interacted with people.
That's the thing, you have your victory conditions, but then you win at the end of the
round, yes. And that's why Ross was able to fly over, take my planet, therefore I couldn't win. I am really unhappy to say this, sort of, and I really didn't enjoy it, and I would say you need to change a lot of the rules in order to make it playable. For me, the big one, and it's discussed on Board Game Geek, is culture is the thing you need to win. But there can be so many culture nodes that you can get that you can do what I did, no matter what. I was the Klingons the second time, and I just sat there for most of the game and just gathered it.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, you have to limit the amount of culture that you can gain from planets.
Yeah, you see, I think it just suffered from the fact that actually there's that more or less one victory condition, and actually, I don't know, it was just a very boring game the second time I played it. The first game, it was kind of, I think I more enjoyed it because I was learning a new game.
Yeah.
In that first game. And then the second one, all of your doubts are kind of just confirmed, because it's like, okay, now I know how to play the game. Is it going to be better? Can I do things differently? Can I do things better? And the answer's like, no, not really. You're just bad. It's just a bad game.
See, in my head,
maybe the expansions will change things and switch things up a bit, and having an extra player in there will change things. But actually, I just think the lack of real player interaction was very much a downside for me.
I spoke to my friend Ross, who owns it, and he went, I'd want to get rid of it if I could right now. And I said to him, well, what about a 4th player? Do you think that's going to make things better regarding trade agreements and kind of less kind of bitty ganging up? And he went, why would I spend 20, 30 quid in a game that might make, or an expansion that might make the game better?
Completely, yeah.
The argument could be, you could just house rule lots of things, but then regards, I am so sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. That's incredibly unprofessional. It was, you could house rule it a lot so you can make the game playable, to which the answer would be, well, shouldn't this have already been play tested and problems brought up? I mean, yes, in the rulebook they gently nudge you towards going towards a conflict route or interacting. But that's gently nudging you, not saying you absolutely have to, otherwise there's no point in the game.
Yeah. So I think that's the last we're going to talk about Star Trek Ascendancy.
Sorry. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Don't play that.
And that's Yamatai.
I'm really looking forward to Yamatai, but I have learned from hype.
Yeah, and I think, but then I trust Days of Wonder. It wasn't that I didn't trust Gale Force 9; I just had no opinion. But I trust Days of Wonder and Bruno Cathala to actually put out.
Bruno Cathala's made two of my favourite
game.
games, or Joint made two of my favourite games, which are Raptor and Jamaica. So I have a lot of trust.
There you go.
I was
Next
going to say
piece of
something else
news.
about hype, and I can't remember what it is, but it doesn't matter.
Next piece of news.
Next piece of news.
It falls under co-op games,
Oh.
which is fun, and that is Mysterium, a game that I love.
I've never played Mysterium, but I have seen it played a lot.
You played Dixit?
I have played Dixit.
It's very similar to Dixit. You know, there's a lot of the same things happening there in regards to pretty pictures on cards, having extra meanings and trying to connect those with words or other pictures and things like that. You know, it's a great kind of deductive game, if you get what I mean. But this time it's cooperative. And just if you don't know Mysterium, the idea is that it's a co-op game. You're all around a seance, and I'll describe it as Dixit meets Cluedo.
Interesting.
In the sense that one person plays as a ghost who has died and needs to convey to the other through pieces of art on cards who the murderer is, where they were murdered, and what the murder weapon is.
Okay.
Anyway,
so is one other member of the group the killer, or is it?
No.
Okay, so it's just
everyone else is just looking for that culprit
Okay.
who is a card on the table somewhere, and you will kind of deduce who that is. But my news for Mysterium is that it's now available on iOS and on Steam.
Oh.
The app looks great, to be honest. It looks really good. For a board game
adaptation
onto a computer, I think they've done a really nice job of it. And obviously, it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
So it's up to 7 players across
nice.
iOS and across Steam. I cannot tell you how much it is. I believe it might be around the £8, $6.99. So I believe it's around £7 on Steam.
$6.99.
There you go, $6.99 on
And
Steam.
$1.99 for the Hidden Signs expansion pack.
The Hidden Signs expansion pack just gives you a few extra cards and things. Doesn't really add anything to the game. But if you want that more choice, I suppose, and to not keep seeing the same thing there, it's great. If you're into that.
Yeah, I think it's something very interesting, especially the last kind of couple of years, that we are seeing such a shift of popular board games that are getting digital versions. Like off the top of my head, I know that a good deal of the Days of Wonder stuff is online.
Plenty of the Days of Wonder stuff.
Ticket to Ride has an online thing you can get on Steam.
Small World
does.
I think most of Small World as well.
Splendor has one.
Yeah, not just Ticket to Ride, but all the
expansion packs.
Talisman.
Talisman, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Before I lived with my girlfriend. We obviously lived in other houses, but we got Ticket to Ride and a bunch of the expansion packs. So I think I've got like Europe, all the USA kind of 1910, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I got Asia, which I really enjoyed, all that stuff, and it was great just playing Ticket to Ride over the internet.
I think
they've released Nordic countries, India, and Germany, and I think there might be another one.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's a really nice thing, but also they've got Cult Express on that now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention. That sounds great, and I'm wondering how that kind of plays on a PC.
I've seen it. I've seen a video of it. It looks good fun. I mean, it's Cult Express. I mean, it's exactly what you'd expect.
I also think a lot of this might be due to the fact that there's a lot of things, obviously, with the rise of, say, Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
Which is a great piece of software.
Fantastic.
But then it's kind of open source, and anyone can make their own mods for it in the form of games. And actually, I think this might be companies fighting back and saying, no, here's an official version.
Here's an official version that you can play online that you don't have to faff about with, and it's quite fun.
No, exactly.
I mean, I love Tabletop Simulator. I think it's great, and I think that open sourceness is wonderful. I mean, I've got a lot of the games that I have on my shelf
Yeah.
I have tabletop simulator versions of. So
Yeah.
if I've got my friends in Glasgow want to play, and we've played Jamaica, and we've played Flashpoint, which is a game I'll talk about later. We've played that online.
Yeah.
And it's been great fun because we've
Well,
just
that's
been
the thing.
different.
I think
But
it's
at the same time, I've generally gone, the games that I own, I will buy on Tabletop Simulator. Or not buy, but I'll subscribe to,
Download.
because I've got it.
Yeah.
Because I feel kind of dishonest about taking things that I don't kind of have.
Well, that doesn't matter too much. I think
For me,
Yeah.
it's that kind of that strange guilt thing.
there's, I suppose, a school of thought that says that, and I think there's a huge base of people that says leave the board games to the table and don't put them on the internet or online or on digital. Because why would I want to play a board game on a computer? And well, the answer to that is what we've been talking about, which is long distance.
Yeah.
Really. It means you can play a board game with people who are on the other side of the world. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. Mysterium, get it on iOS, get it on Steam. It might also be on the Google Store. I've absolutely no idea, to be honest. It is. It's on Android. There you go. So yeah, one question we've also got in the Facebook Live chat. Go to our Facebook page as well, our Meeple People podcast on Facebook, and there's regular updates, and we might do more of these Facebook Lives when we record the show. So the question is, how does Mysterium compare to Deception, Murder in Hong Kong? Now, this is a game that I've played quite a bit of, actually.
I've only played a little bit because when there's the amount of people, no one feels like it. As far as I can tell, you can probably describe it better.
I found that Deception, Murder in Hong Kong is a lot more of a storytelling game, in the sense that you're given kind of these scenarios where someone's died and you're just trying to work out who it was or what they were killed with and where they were
So to provide some context, you have... I think it's 4 to 12 players. Now, one person... You get cards. One person is a murderer. One person is... Everyone else is detectives. And one person is a forensic scientist. And the forensic scientist is kind of the game master
role?
kind of thing. So it starts off, everyone closes their eyes. Everyone also has cards dealt out in front of them. And they're things that you're... murder weapons or murder implements and the crucial piece of evidence. So everyone looks there. So obviously the murderer secret looks at their card and goes, okay. Then everyone looks at their implements, their crucial piece of evidence. Everyone closes their eyes. The forensic scientist keeps their eyes open and tells the murderer to open their eyes, pick one of each of the murder implements and the piece of evidence.
And they are the definitive items,
They are
basically.
the thing.
That's what everyone needs to get at to win the game. And it's weird. It's almost a semi-co-op style thing, isn't it?
It's co-op.
You're working together to kind of deduce it, but actually at the same time, you're kind of wanting to win on your own. You want to be the person who finally guesses that thing, but actually you need everyone else's help.
Yeah,
you need everyone.
help. It is co-op in that thing. It's co-op but with basically a hidden traitor mechanic. One of you is a murderer. You just don't know. How much. But then the GM, the games master there's a couple of tiles like where it was, how quick the murder was, what condition the body was in, and these are lots of different ones you can randomly generate.
Yeah.
And it says, the GM kind of has to think about it for a second and go, right, they were killed with a blender, which I remember you were the murderer and you picked blender. Mm-hmm. And I was going, right, okay, so, and the one I got drawn out are the things, how quick did it take for the person to die? And I put quick, but not instantaneous. So it's like instantaneous, quick, medium, slow, a long time. Yeah. And so I had to think about that for a second. And a couple of times I went, I've put these things down. You can't move them after you've placed them, and gone, that doesn't give a proper indication. And when I found out at the end, people were going, how the hell was that? You put in a blender? That's not quick. That's almost instantaneous, for goodness sake.
But no, I think it's
I really enjoyed it when I played it.
I really enjoyed the game. It's more... For us, it became more of a storytelling game and kind of developing, these stories of how this person died and trying to convince people that your story is the correct one. Yeah. Does it compare to Mysterium? I'd say not particularly. I'd say if you're more of a fan of games such as Once Upon a Time or Gloom, where you get to kind of weave your own tale, and
Then Deception.
Murder in Hong Kong is great. Yes, it's kind of got that card element, but that doesn't really matter too much. I'd say if you're a fan of Dixit and you just want something a bit more, Dixit with a twist or Dixit with more of a point, I'd say completely go for Mysterium. Mysterium's a fabulous game. So I'd been hearing that Deception Murder in Hong Kong had been described by many people as a Mysterium killer. Like a game that completely replaced Mysterium. No, not to me.
Not to you, okay. But
it's a different game.
Mm-hmm. But I was wanting to see how they compared. I guess
for me, Mysterium could be a Dixit killer.
Okay, yeah.
I can see that, but Deception Murder in Hong Kong, no, I wouldn't say it would kill Mysterium. You've got different goals, you've got different mechanics there fundamentally. Mysterium's all about these kind of beautiful pieces of art, and it's a game that's really played with no words. Mysterium, you don't have to really talk through Mysterium to actually play the game. Whereas Murder in Hong Kong, it's all about convincing people that your story is the right story, and this is why.
Okay.
These are the fine details of this murder situation.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Anyway, that's the news.
Pretty much, yeah.
On with the rest of the show today. Co-op games.
Hey.
So, co-op games. It's my favourite genre of games.
Really?
That's
a bold claim.
I love co-op games. I think when done well, they're brilliant.
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, what would be our kind of general description of a co-op game? Would you say it is instead of working against each other, pretty much,
working
you are
together
working
to
together,
achieve the same goal?
Yes, against either the board or the game itself, or on occasion one other player.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so we know the good grounding where we are.
So the first game we're going to talk about today is one that we were greatly looking forward to playing. We put it up on the Facebook page.
We talked about it a lot last time, and my heart rate has pretty much calmed down now.
Pretty much.
Oh, it's been a week as of today that we played it.
And that game is
Captain Sonar.
Captain Sonar, brilliant semi-cooperative game, I'd say, because it is two cooperative teams against each other. The idea is that you are the crew of a submarine looking for the other crew of the submarine around the map, and when you find them, you throw everything you've got. You throw your missiles.
Or you try to throw it, and then your engineer goes, "Captain, we can't fire the torpedoes."
Set off mines to hit them,
Yes.
and it's basically a big real-time game of battleships.
Yeah, that's the important thing, real time. So, big thanks to Ian from Giant Brain, who brought his copy down last week. We managed to get 3 hours we played, and we got 7 and 8 player games going.
And it was fantastic.
Oh my god.
So the way the game works is there are two teams, each with 4 roles. Those roles for each ship are the same. You have the captain of the ship, who kind of mans everything, tells everyone kind of what to do, plots the course of your ship.
You have the first mate, who charges systems, be it weapons or sonar things, or one of them is called silent running.
And the idea is that each system needs a series of needs X amount of charges to actually work. So torpedoes might need 3 charges.
Every time you move, you pick one. The first mate picks one system to charge
and give it a charge. So essentially, you could move 3 spaces, charge the torpedoes up 3 times, and then they're ready to fire.
Then you go to the captain out loud, because it's one of the most important things in the game. Go, torpedoes ready, captain.
Just so everyone knows what's happening. Mm-hmm. The next role is the engineer, and their role is every time you move, just like the first mate charges up a system, the engineer has to break a system.
Basically, the submarines that we're all piloting are terrible in that every time they move, something breaks down. But it's up to the engineer what breaks down. You've got a little kind of map, and there's a little the system's kind of in and out with little lines. It looks lovely. Every time you move, you break one, and then you can't use it. So if you choose a weapon system anywhere and break it, that's it. You can't use the weapon system until it's healed. And the way you heal it is there's usually 4 systems in this line that goes over multiple sectors on north, east, south, and west. If you heal or if you break all 4, they self-heal. If that makes any sense at all. If you fill up all the systems in a particular quadrant, let's say that, it breaks. Your ship takes 1 point of damage.
Out of 4.
Out of 4. And you've just got to mark it down, but everything self-heals. There are other little radiation symbols which aren't connected to anything. You can cross them off, fine, doesn't do anything. If you cross all of them off, the reactor of your submarine breaks. You take 1 point of damage and they all heal.
So that person is kind of just in charge of saying, more or less keeping things active.
Yeah, and
really.
Working very closely, especially with the
So
first mate, and making sure that if they need a system charge already, that they can try and clear that.
Working closely with the first mate and the captain, really.
Absolutely. Communication between all of them is, I think,
as captain,
obscenely clear.
one thing I was definitely saying a lot was, let's keep sonar open.
Yes.
Like, make sure you can't break sonar, or make sure, like, we really need torpedoes in the next few turns, and make sure you don't break them.
I kept going, we need to keep that one open, need to keep that one open. And
the fourth and final role is the
radio operator.
And it's their job to search for the other team. So they have a copy of the map in front of you with...
The captain and the radio operator are the only people in the game, are the only people on their team who know or have a copy of the map.
Yeah.
First mate and engineer don't need to worry about that. They've got their own system.
The captain plots their course.
In a snake line. You can't go over yours. You can't hit snake line.
And
you can't hit
the
your
radio operator has a sheet of acetate on top of his map. And it's his job to listen to the other team captain and plot their course whilst moving the acetate over their map to figure out where their enemy is, and relay that to the captain and say, look, they're right there. We've got to go down. We've got to go east, or... Captain,
Captain, I think they're there.
We're right next to them.
Yeah.
Fire your bombs, or whatever.
Or in the case when Sam was captain, I was radio operator. It was a lot of me going, I'm sorry, man. I can't. I don't know where they've gone. I couldn't hear them because the other captain was just firing off directions, and I was going, is that a repeat? I've no idea. Damn it! Because that's why communication is so key in this.
And it's hectic as well. Communication is key, but there's a lot of well, that's the thing. Is there a lot of talking? A lot of time it's just tense silence with the captain.
Communication,
saying
but maybe not communication, but maybe not talking. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because at any time, if you're a submarine, if you feel like your engine room is too clogged up with everything, you can surface. Now, on the real-time map, there are usually 9 sectors in the game. You can say, I'm surfacing in sector 5, say. So firstly, the other team knows exactly which sector you're in. They don't know which square you're in, but if they know that if they've been following your trail, they can start going, right, sector 5, sector 5, sector 5. So they can start zeroing in. You play a little line, every member of the team plays a little line drawing game to fix the submarine.
So you have to hold what you're doing.
Yep. Everybody on the team, everybody puts their pens down, including the radio operator. The radio operator has to listen and remember what the other captain is saying.
And on the top of the engineer's sheet, there's a little outline of the submarine, basically, in 4 separate parts. And once you've surfaced, it's then the whole team's job to outline one part of the submarine and sign it. The engineer then shows it to the other team's engineer to check that the lines are linked up or nothing's gone outside the lines, and the other team's engineer can then say, yep, you're good to go back under the water, or no, that bit's wrong, fix it and show it to me, and then I'll maybe let you start playing the game again.
And then the engineer scrubs out every piece of problem with this engine room, and you can dive again. You can also reset your route. But the thing is, when you surface, the other team keeps going. They can be steaming towards you, and you just need to be, you're tense, you need to get that line drawn properly, you need to sign it. Or you can have a situation that we did, where one team surfaced, and they got things, and the other team immediately surfaced, and they were pretty much right next to each other.
More or less, yeah. So we played many games, and we did all of the roles.
I'm going to say I didn't actually. I didn't get to play first mate.
It was okay. You are working closely with the engineer.
I have to say, first mate sounds like the most kind of quote unquote simple one or boring.
It is,
but at the same time, they're crucial. The captain is important because they decide where to go and what to use. First mate's important because they decide what you can use. The engineer is important because they decide, they keep the ship running and start taking downtime.
Yeah.
And the radio operator is important because they find out where the other enemy is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all equally important. Like you couldn't take away
that's
one of those roles.
The engineer and the first mate are interesting ones. They're very similar
Yes.
in many ways, but the engineer almost just has a slight upper hand on funness, if you get what I mean,
Yeah, I do.
over the first mate.
Yep.
First mate's definitely, I don't want to say boring, but out of the four roles, the most boring.
Yeah. But it's still that tension.
So your favourite roles, what were they?
Right, I'm going to say this right now. I put it on the Facebook page. I am a terrible captain.
But did you enjoy it?
Oh, God, yes. I enjoyed being an engineer as well, actually. I was amazed at that. Again, I was in a ship that sank. And I enjoyed being a radio operator. I loved being a radio operator. As much as I went, I don't know where they are. I loved it.
You were my radio operator.
I was your
weren't
radio
you?
operator. And to be fair, I missed one direction.
Yeah, we had a little problem, didn't we, where we vaguely knew where they were, but it turns out a few turns back, actually quite many turns back.
No, it was only 2 or 3 turns.
You had missed one.
No, because the other captain went south, and they said south again, and I didn't know the first mate and the engineer are meant to say okay to go. You're clear to move again. Yeah. I didn't hear them say okay. I thought she was repeating the south command. In fact, she was actually doing another south. Mm-hmm. So it threw me off. Apart from that, I still loved it.
I greatly enjoyed being a captain.
Yeah.
I was a vaguely successful captain. I think I had 3 wins, 2 losses as captain. No, I played captain 3 times. I had 2 wins, 1 loss.
I think I was captain. Well,
but it was fun.
The first 3 games I was captain, and then I was twice more.
But,
so I have 4 losses and 1 win as a captain.
But radio operator as well, I think was an excellent role.
Aye.
Again, it's one of those games that really eliminates alpha gaming. Really.
Absolutely.
I get that you've got that role of the captain there, whose job it is to tell people what to do in a sense.
But that doesn't. But they're not overtaking everything because there's still the engineer going.
But
Listen.
ultimately, you're still telling people what to do so your team can win. You know, you're giving them advice. You're saying, look, can we keep sonar open because it's going to be really useful later? And actually, it's not the other team's. It's not your teammates' call to say, no, I'm going to keep torpedoes open because I want to use them. But actually the captain can say, well, we're nowhere near them and we need to hone in on them, so we need to use sonar. And that's fine. I think and really the engineer and the first mate have no connection with the radio operator.
No, none at all.
And actually that's the crossover there. The captain's saying, look, we need to use torpedoes. And the other guy's going, isn't sonar better? But actually, the captain's going, well, no, because I've been talking to the radio operator and we know where they are, so we need torpedoes now, or we need mines now. And so you've got the captain role, but actually, you know, it's in the name of the role.
Yeah.
That it is the captain.
It is. Yeah. I will be honest, it has probably jumped into my top 10 games. I think off that one thing, it's jumped into my top 10 games. Is it a perfect game? No game's perfect. My main issue with it...
It was close.
It was close, but my main issue with it, and it's simply necessity, is that in order to get the best out of it, play it with 8 people.
Yeah, it could cut down to 6 people if you have the...
If you're playing with anything less than 8... If you're playing with...
captain becomes a first mate as well.
The captain, doubles with the first mate.
And it works.
It's all right.
Because that first mate role is a bit simple, really. Fair enough, it's a crucial, you need it all 4 roles.
And I can't really think of anything more pizzazzy, because otherwise that would replace it, because otherwise it's going to get too complicated. And I guess it's simple that makes it effective.
Completely.
So yeah, I think Captain Sonar is huge thumbs up from me.
No, I think, for 3 hours of playing a game straight and getting that many games in, on the box it says, 40 minutes for a game? We were hitting 15, 20 minutes for a game.
Yeah.
And each one was more tense than the last.
The last 2 games...
The better we got at the game, the more tense it got.
The last 2 games were unbelievably tense because we'd all mostly done some variation of the roles.
We'd all found our roles.
Yeah, and we all knew what we were doing pretty much. So it was, right, okay, we're using silent running, so we can move 4, but we don't know. We can move up to 4. Oh, where are they? And the last thing, where Sam was captain, I was the radio operator, we were steaming towards where we'd been unaware the other team had laid a mine. And I should have put it down on the radio operator sheet, to be fair. Like that was my call. But the tension, it was like, stop! And we all was like, what? Detonating a mine here, and we went,
And yeah, it's just that tenseness of they detonate a mine. It's like, well, where's it detonating? And it's like we're right on top of it, and we had no idea.
Or that moment
and it
where
just blows you up, and that's it.
The moment where you're the captain, they're like, we're firing a torpedo here, and you look down, and it's right on your bit, and you're trying to keep that face going. Direct hit. It's like, get the fuck out, go away from here.
That's Captain Sonar.
Yeah.
Glorious game. I enjoyed it so much.
Right, yeah. Let's move on quick. Let me talk about this.
So yeah, the next thing I'm going to touch on briefly, in Captain Sonar, we talked about their eliminating the whole alpha gamer role. And by this, I mean a lot of co-op games suffer from the fact that you can have one player who sits there and tells everyone what to do.
Yeah.
And this is a shame, it can really cause a lot of people to not enjoy what they're playing, not enjoy the evening, not enjoy the game, and can change people's opinions of a game. I think, let's take Pandemic as a brief example, how that can be really enjoyable for everyone because everyone's got their own roles, everyone knows what they can do, everyone can do a special thing.
But there is a danger of incredible alpha gaming.
Yeah, but and it's that someone who just basically plays the game on their own, just tells you what to do. And
hello to everyone who's just joined us on the stream. So just reiterate, we are attempting a live stream of our recording today.
And we'll see how it goes. And
see how it goes. Yeah,
enjoy it. We'll do it for pretty much all of them.
Yeah, if you're watching, hello there, and if you've got any questions, please post them in.
Yeah, just comment in the box.
Yeah,
and we'll try and get to them. Go off on a bit of a tangent, but it's fine.
I was going to say very quickly about Pandemic. I was playing. I haven't played Pandemic in a long time, and I played it recently with a group of my friends from Glasgow. It was my friends Jennifer, Hannah, and Campbell. And I was thinking about maybe getting rid of Pandemic because I haven't played it for ages. I was like, it's difficult. It's just it's annoying. But we played it because they'd never played it before, and I can't remember what roles we were. But these guys never played it before. And there was the danger of the alpha gamer because I knew what was going on. And we won on the very last turn.
But that's always the best thing about Pandemic, which I love.
And that's why that's made me go, no, I'm keeping this in my shelf.
That Pandemic is played essentially against a timer. You've got a timer. You've got until that deck runs out.
And that is for me. There's a reason why people call that one of the best co-op board games because it's been designed in such a way. The game is always going to be close. It's going to be tense, and you're going to have a lot of fun. I have to say, big props. I remember that Campbell was playing. I think it was like the quarantine specialist. So wherever he was, nothing around him could either get infected or quarantine, which was amazing. And he was the paladin just walking around going, you're going there. I was like, right, there's been drawn. We're fine, guys, we're fine. I was the dispatcher, which a role I always thought was terrible. And until I realized, no, this is amazing. I can move them there, I can move them there. They can come over there. Oh, fantastic. We had the medic who was moving about. It's annoying. I really can't remember who Jen was. Oh, Jen was the one where you can build a research station.
Yeah,
this is
I
a card.
What they're called, yeah.
Brilliant. And it just meant we could just fly back, and I have it.
This is why I love Pandemic.
Yes.
It still holds up, and it's worth saying 10 years old this year.
Jesus.
10 years old, that game, and it's still just one of the best co-op experiences.
I would say best co-op experiences, hands down. Pandemic Cthulhu, which just came out last year, again takes that classic Pandemic thing, gives it a wee change around, sets it in the Lovecraft verse.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm into that. I think it's like if you want to play that, play Eldritch Horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Eldritch Horror has a very Pandemic feel to it in the sense that you're walking around the world trying it's not viruses. Fair enough, it's cultists
or shoggoths that they put down.
Yeah,
But there's
little
also a
monsters.
Santi mechanic, which is par for the course for Lovecraft. It's interesting, but I tell you what, the other thing I want to play, and I do want to play, is Pandemic Iberia, which we did talk about last time. Pandemic Iberia,
Same.
it's Iberian Peninsula, it's typhoid, it's malaria, it's other things, and it just seems a lot simpler. It keeps the traditional pandemic mechanics. And there's nice little things. So you can't jet around the world. You need to improve water sanitation.
You have to
stop.
build railways to
Yeah.
get to places and things, and that just sounds so much fun.
So that's I can't wait for that.
But back to my original point:
I'm
is
so
Pandemic
sorry.
is has a big threat of alpha gaming, where you can have that
Oh,
one
yeah.
person who just knows the solution really, and that takes other people's enjoyment out. Maybe makes other people think like, fair enough, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or
I did see a game of Pandemic played. It was a friend of mine. I haven't really spoken to him very much. It was a games night. They played Pandemic. I was looking over and he was going, right, we should go here, 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 and here. And we could do this, and then we can win. I know what I'm doing. And I watched them kind of play it, and I looked over and was like, that just looks really boring, man. Don't.
Yeah.
Why?
But a great game to get rid of that alpha gaming. XCOM, the board game. Eric Lang, 2013, 2014,
Something like that.
2015.
Oh,
I don't know.
God, I'm so sorry.
Come out in the last couple years. And it's a cooperative board game for 4 players. I do stress that, it does say 2 to 4, well, 1 to 4, it's co-op, but actually, again, like Captain Sonar, you've got individual roles and you really do need to stick to those roles. And yeah, we're talking 4-player game. And the idea is you've got an app featured in the game. That can be a computer, it can be a tablet, it can be a phone.
2015.
And a lot of people don't like that, but actually, it's XCOM. You're playing a branch of the military. It's kind of in the future. It's sci-fi. Having a computer at the table adds to that theme and is really nice.
But that's another thing we're seeing more of, especially with co-op games. Actually, is the growth in apps as the kind of the GM thing. Because I know Imperial Assault's getting one. Mansions of Madness Second Edition, another Lovecraft game.
Descent. Well, that's the one that the Imperial Assault one is going to be going on.
Yeah, but yeah, they've gone, and that's basically taking the role of it and saying, right, set up here. So you don't need to have that one player sitting back going, I'm going to be a dick to you and you and you and you, and everyone gets a Shoggoth. You get a Shoggoth and you get a Shoggoth.
And really, it's just about what XCOM does. It puts pressure on the players, much like in Captain Sonar. Everyone's got a role to do, and they've got a certain time to do it in, really. And there is a timer. There's a visible timer counting down, telling you this is what you've got to do in this time frame. And it's like, okay, let's get it done. And you haven't got time because it might say, researcher, choose these cards and choose what you're researching, and you've got 10 seconds to do it. And no one has the time to help that person out. Because you've got 10 seconds to do that.
Everyone's got their own thing. Someone on the chat, Russ Grimm's made a very good point. Battlestar Galactica has the co-op factor. Has co-op factor, but removes alpha gaming. Much better in Pandemic, in my opinion, as one of 2 of you are. And that's finishing. I'm guessing the rest are Cylons and working against the other players. That's very true. I am not discounting it. I'm just saying, because I am ridiculous, I have not played Battlestar Galactica.
I have played Battlestar
and I want to play it freaking bad.
I played it 2 years ago. I've played a few games of it.
Toaster. Yeah, Secretly Silent. Yeah, it is again that kind of works similar, not in the same way, but similar to a couple more games. Which why I was wanted to make the definition between co-op games where you're working against the game itself, but you're also working against
another
player, which you can get in an expansion in Pandemic, which is On the Brink, which one is a secret bioterrorist.
I think the key difference in Battlestar is you're working against other players, but you don't know who they are.
I like that.
In most, you know who it is. If it's Descent, Imperial Assault, you know who that person is because they're sitting at the end of the board, they're controlling their own units, and it's very obvious. But in this, you're all sat around the table, you're doing co-op things, you've also got someone to fight against, really. You've got an AI opponent.
Frickin' toaster lovers.
I don't know what?
Toaster lovers.
I don't know Battlestar Galactica. I've played the board game. That's about it.
Okay, fair enough. No, toaster lovers is a derogatory name for a Cylon, and
Okay.
toaster lovers are people who sympathise with the Cylons.
Is this used in the show?
Yes.
Wow. Who knew? But no, Battlestar is a great game. Lots of expansions if you like that kind of thing. You know, I think the base game is strong on its own.
Yeah, I really want to play it.
The
I just want to
expansions,
play it really bad.
from what I believe, I've played with the expansions. That's the thing. But
Oh.
I'm not too sure. You know, so long ago. The expansions add a lot of different boards
Nice.
to the game. Lots of different areas for you to go and lots of different things for you to do.
I did hear there's one you can space people, which part of me is like...
So yeah, we've got a list of games that we want to talk about. So we've done Captain Sonar.
Done Camp Sonar, we've done XCOM, we've done
XCOM.
Pandemic.
XCOM, mentioning that, is a great game if you want a fast-paced co-op game. That also, may I mention, is hard as nails.
I bet.
It's got multiple difficulties as well, which is nice. In the app, you can choose, I want a hard game, I want an easy game. And that's great, and that gets rid of the alpha gamingness that you get in games such as Pandemic.
Yes.
Leading on to Pandemic, a game we haven't ever talked about on the show. I've only played it a few times. I know Jamie loves it.
Yep. It's a game called Flashpoint Fire Rescue. It's a co-op game. Like Pandemic, you're a group of people saving people. Instead of the world and viruses, you are firefighters, and you're saving people from burning buildings.
Which is
and
a
such
nice theme that's not really done a lot
It's
at all,
not-
really.
It's done occasionally, but it's not. Yeah, it's something that's not really touched on.
But this is a game that when we played it, I felt it really did do the theme justice, in a sense.
Yes.
That you do feel like you are kind of going into a blaze, let's say, and helping people out, and it's tough. Like most co-op games, I think it's worth pointing out, a lot of co-op games are hard.
Yes.
They're really gruelingly hard.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the appeal of it, because it is hard when you beat the game. Like, for example, Ghost Stories. I'm just going to turn very quickly. Ghost Stories, you beat that game. It's the kind of thing you could do a lap of wherever you are and high-five people. Or you get, like someone did recently, and they got a round of applause in a board game cafe I was in.
No way.
Because it was like, we beat Ghost Stories. And we were like, yeah.
Congrats.
Hold on. But yeah, Flashpoint, it's hard. You're looking for these things which are points of interest. They could be a person, they could be a fake. Trying to get them out. I really like it. I've played it more than Pandemic, which might make me think I kind of enjoyed it more. But you know what? After playing Pandemic again, I'm playing it again. I think they're pretty much equal.
I always have a really nice experience with Pandemic when I play it. It takes me a while to kind of get back into it, if you get what I mean. Like, I'm not going to play Pandemic every night. But when I do play Pandemic, it's every couple of months.
Yeah,
by far.
that's fair enough.
Maybe, definitely not regularly.
No.
But I have a good experience with that every time, and I can see the same with Flashpoint. Actually, I think it is just that co-op thing that that I personally really, really enjoy. Going around and figuring out a puzzle, because that's what they are.
Oh, absolute puzzles.
With other people
Yep.
round the table.
And-
if that's
and-
one
and-
person, if that's two people, or...
Yeah. So instead of infecting in Flashpoint, it's you roll a d6 and a d8 on a grid, and then you basically it's spreading the fire. So if a space doesn't have a token on it, you put a little smoke token. So you can move through it. If there's already a smoke token on it, it turns into a fire token, and you can move through it at half speed. You don't take people who you're trying to save through fire, because they will die. And if there's already a fire token on it, there's an explosion, which is very bad. It can blow doors open. It can make holes in walls. It can definitely kill people. And it knocks your firefighters. They respawn outside, basically. I enjoy it, and I think one of the things I quite like about it is the expansions they brought out.
That's one thing I think that it's got over Pandemic. I want to mention Pandemic. Obviously, you kind of play on
world.
that one board, and I think Pandemic could benefit from having different country expansions and stuff. It could be interesting.
It could, but
that's why I want to play things like Iberia and maybe play the Pandemic Cthulhu, because it's a different board, but essentially the same game.
But yeah, Flashpoint. I mean, it starts off. You get a double-sided board that is two different styles of house. It's one floor. Other expansions, which I don't have, just because I don't have the money, it gives you like a second floor to a house or another urban structure with some new things. The one I have is called Dangerous Waters, which gives you a couple of new
submarine, wasn't it?
There is a marina, so there's a boat, and the other side is there is a submarine. Now, the submarine is interesting because you can only enter and exit from one place, which is quite good. There's machinery on there, so if they explode. If things explode onto this machinery, they take a damage marker, and if they take 4 or 5, as indicated on the board, you automatically lose the game because it's like an engine blowing up or major things blowing up. Also, usually in the game, you're trying to get people out of a building to a safe zone, like outside the building. In the submarine level, there's 2 infirmary places, but both of these are still on board the ship. So you could be saving... At one point, I played it recently on the submarine. We had about 4 or 5 people in one infirmary, and there's a smoke token got put down next to it, or in it. And we were just like, run! Oh, God! Save them! And we did.
But no, remind me again quickly. Does Flashpoint have the same roles kind of thing as Pandemic does?
There are. This is the thing about Flashpoint. The base game is very easy, very simple. There is a whole lot of advanced rules for it that can be a bit finicky to add in sometimes, especially the first time.
But does everyone have a different ability they can trigger and things?
You can, yes. There are options to play different roles.
I forget if we had that when we played it. Maybe we put it in the second time or something. I don't know.
They put it in the second time, yeah. You've got the traditional ones. You've got the fire captain, the person who can basically, as a point, direct other people or like move other people around.
Yeah, we did use the roles. Yeah, I remember.
You got the paramedic who can treat people. So normally you move half speed with people. With injured people, but if you treat them, you can move at normal speed. Yep. You've got the guy who's got less action points a turn, but he's got several free ones to fight fires with. You've got ones who are able to chop down walls, which is quite an interesting mechanic. You can chop down walls, which means you can make it easier to move through places, but you use up damage tokens, and damage tokens are one of the end conditions. If you use up all the damage tokens, which you can get through fire and on explosions on walls and stuff like that, the building collapses. Things like that. So you can, but they pay double costs to remove smoke and fire. So they don't want to be fighting the fire. They want to be running in and getting other people. Yeah, which is interesting.
No, and I really enjoy Flashpoint.
I like it.
Bring it in more. I really enjoy it.
I will, man. I will. Trust me. And I'm wanting to get another expansion called Honor and Duty, which gives you a plane and not a submarine, an underground train, a subway train.
Awesome.
Sounds cool.
Sounds
good.
I'll
see how that goes.
And I'd like to see more of that from Z-Man Games. I don't know whether they go with the Asmodee takeover that happens with them.
Yep.
But maybe, if we can get more things for Pandemic, I really enjoy it as a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's those.
All right. We've talked about, the Arkham horror and Eldritch horror games before. I mean, they're very good games. I've got Eldritch Horror at home. I think base game. I don't have any expansions. I think it's very good. It's that
they're fantastic games.
That globe-trotting element. It makes you go, well, don't play Pandemic Cthulhu because you've got Eldritch Horror, which does it in a different way.
Yeah, worth mentioning just a bit of background. Fantasy Flight currently hold the I say the license, and they don't. Everyone owns the license,
but they seem to be the forerunners in making
Lovecraft games,
the Lovecraft mythos,
especially board games. I know with RPGs, someone else has that license. They've had it in the past.
7th edition is out.
If you want Lovecraft board games, if you want Lovecraft card games, go to FFG. They're putting out some amazing content at the moment. All of it cooperative.
Pretty much, yeah.
Lovecraft, FFG's Lovecraftian mythos that they're going. Their world, they call it, is Arkham Files. They all fall under. So
that's a nice name.
Everything now has a little Arkham Files logo on the box when you buy it. That brings it all together. So you've got Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror is kind of taking over Arkham Horror now.
I think Arkham Horror it was an alright game, but now there's so many expansions that it's
Eldritch
like
kind of just polishes it up a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And I like that globetrotting. I like the globetrotting element to it. Again, I've never won, but
I have. I've played one. No, wait. I really don't remember. I think we did. I think we.
You think?
I'm pretty sure. I don't remember crushing disappointment. So I'm pretty certain we won that game.
Crushing disappointment.
I played Eldritch Horror once, just the base game, and really, really enjoyed it.
Good.
Something else I'm enjoying a lot lately, I've said it in the past 2 podcasts though, but I really am loving it, is the Arkham Horror LCG.
So the Dunwich Legacy?
Dunwich Legacy.
Dunwich Legacy has just come out, so I don't know what Sam's...
So that's the first box for the first proper full-length campaign that they're launching with it. So it's going to be an 8-part campaign.
Ooh.
It is. So the intro box gives you two scenarios that you can play through, that you will play through in your campaign. interestingly, what I really like about it, it's 2 scenarios, but you can play them in either order, which is nice.
Okay, that's nice.
Because the idea is that you speak to this professor, and he's like, "Oh, strange things happening. Surprise, surprise."
Really?
Around Dunwich and Miskatonic University, strange goings on. I need you to get in touch with 2 people. First person,
Right,
he was meant to meet me today, but he's gone missing. Don't know where he is. Last place he was seen was the uni. So you can go off to the Miskatonic University to have a look for that guy. Or there's another lecturer who he's like, get in touch with, but no one's seen him for a while. He's a bit of a drunk now, and he's usually seen at this speakeasy. So you can go.
I remember you talking about this. Yeah, that sounds good.
And there was no contest there. The first place you go is that speakeasy.
Yeah, man. Although I have to say, I love Miskatonic University. I love walking about. Well, I've not played it, but I like reading about it and walking about the quads and kind of in the library.
But no, that's another great co-op game. You can play it solo with 1 deck. I suppose you can solo it with 2 decks, really, if you want, or 3 or 4 decks, depending on how bothered you are about doing that. But really, it's a good co-op experience.
And speaking of ancient unknoble evil horrors, the kind of co-op game where you're playing against one other character.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get onto now. We've touched on it earlier, whereas there's, say, Descent, Imperial Assault. We've got this kind of, it's semi-cooperative. So it's everyone against one person. So it's not everyone against the game this time. It's the bad figure or the evil character is controlled by one person, and everyone else is against them.
Now we're going to be talking about 2 of them. They're very similar games.
2 of our favourites. Well, definitely
one is one of my favourite games.
2 we're not too sure about them.
Both until very recently have been made by Fantasy Flight. One is still being made, the other is not. They are Letters from Whitechapel,
which is an excellent game,
and Fury of Dracula, 3rd edition.
I have played once. Okay. You have played
0. So we at least. Again, we could, if you think we're talking bollocks, if you're on the live stream, come on the live stream, it's amazing. Send us a comment. If you don't, send us an email at meeplepeople.podcast@gmail.com. Comment in our Facebook page. Let us know what you think, because we always want to.
So because we don't know much about Fury of Dracula, should we touch on that briefly first?
Briefly.
So my experience of Fury of Dracula, and just so people want to know a bit more about the game, I'll explain it now, like we usually do. Fury of Dracula puts one person as Count Dracula, and you're given a map of Europe to roam about and basically go make people vampires and do your
You've got nefarious deeds to plan.
And it puts everyone else as vampire hunters, be that...
You're going to be Mina Harker, Abraham Van Helsing, Lord Godalming and Dr. Stewart?
Something like that, I don't know.
Guess who's Red Dracula?
4 other people up against Dracula.
Yeah.
Now, they obviously have various things they can do, and Dracula has certain things he can do. And you kind of just go around the map, and Dracula's movement is hidden movement. That's another common theme between this and Letters of Whitechapel that we'll talk about in a minute. And it's the detectives, let's call them, vampire hunters. It's their role to find out where Dracula was by looking for clues. Maybe it's a dead body that they find. Maybe it's just something they come across that says, yep, Dracula was here, you're on the right path. Now, my only thing about this is that, well, I played it once and it was a long game. We played about 2.5 to 3 hours of it, and we didn't finish. Because, as far as we could tell, the game doesn't have an endpoint. It doesn't have a definite...
I've been told it does have an endpoint, but... Okay, you're not playing against a timer, okay.
There's no point where you know it's just going to finish. Now, that to me is a downside, because... It meant that our game went on for 2.5 to 3 hours, and actually we stopped because we were just like, look, this isn't getting anywhere.
2 to 3 hours, you want to be enjoying yourself as much as you can. I mean, we're talking ascendancy levels here.
Yep.
2 or 3 hours, you want to have a good game, and I haven't played, so I can't comment. But I know that after playing ascendancy for 2.5 to 3 hours, I'm like.
And we played. Worth saying now, we played it with I was Dracula, and then 3 other people were the investigators.
Right, so you had 3 others, yeah.
So it's one person short of a full game, which usually you'd think that would be fine. But actually, it just really wasn't getting anywhere. And then once you do find Dracula, you have some combat with him. And that, it worked and it was all right. But really, the game just kept going on and on and on, and it wasn't going anywhere. So we just decided to call it a day, really. Will we pick it up again? I really do want to pick it up again.
I want to pick it up again. And also it's going to be interesting because the license for Fury of Dracula, for those of you that don't know, is owned by one company called Games Workshop, who, until fairly recently, had a good partnership with Fantasy Flight. And Fantasy Flight made a lot of Warhammer 40,000 RPs. They made Warhammer... they made Wifrip 3rd Edition. They made a good deal of board games. Forbidden Stars is kind of the one.
Talisman
as well.
Another huge one that Fantasy Flight
and
did.
Fury of Dracula, which I didn't realise until I looked up at this. They actually had the rights for.
And it's
so... As of the end of March, I believe, or end of February, March.
So it was announced about midway last year that they were ending their license agreement with Fantasy Flight and Games Workshop. They'd no longer have anything to do with each other, really. And that's a shame, because Fantasy Flight... Games Workshop are a big company of miniatures games. You know, they are getting back into the board game market with things like Lost Patrol and Silver Tower and more recently Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl!
However... what you are missing there really is dedicated board games, card games, RPGs. That is another huge section of the tabletop market, and that was being produced by Fantasy Flight.
Fantasy Flight. I mean, you know, you could argue, say many things. They did some pretty good RPs. They had people who are quite interested in the lore.
The RPG was
Dark Heresy. Dark Heresy was amazing.
Huge.
I mean, I think all four of them were amazing in their own way. I mean, I've played a bit of Rogue Trader, which I really enjoy because that's that kind of not the high seas, but high space seas, and that kind of high adventure fun. I haven't played Death Watch, although playing a Space Marine would be awesome. Only War, which I have, but have not run or played in, because being an Imperial Guardsman, I like the idea of. I'm about to play a Dark Heresy game, Inquisitorial Agents, you know, you get to a bit of authority. Wreck shit up in the name of the Emperor. Although not too much.
And then
heresy.
Fantasy Flight also had things such as the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest LCG that was out and didn't run for long.
They've had...
But that's now stopped.
But they've had tons. But they had Fury of Dracula. Now that has come to an end. By the end of February or March, they're not going to be producing any more games. So it might become kind of difficult to get your hands on Fury of Dracula after this time. Or any of the RPG books.
Well, they won't be being reprinted.
They won't be being reprinted, but that's
They'll
pretty
still
much
be out there.
that's tantamount to they're not going to print them, so prices are going to skyrocket.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, I've seen copies of, and it might just be for the game. I've seen copies of Forbidden Stars on sale for £93 in a shop. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it in 60, 70 in other places.
So yeah, Fury of Dracula. We want to get back on the table and have another shot at it. I liked it, but there was problems that I just don't want. I want to see if they get confirmed in the second playthrough, essentially. Yeah. I've heard that actually it is a really good reprinting of that game.
I've heard mates say that they did it in an hour and a half.
There you go. See, maybe we're
just
playing something wrong, doing something wrong, but we'll give it another go. Yeah. Anyway.
The other game is Letters from Whitechapel.
Again, Fantasy Flight game. This one's not GW.
This is just Fantasy Flight Solid.
Yeah.
One person... The board is... One person is Jack the Ripper. Up to 5 other people are policemen. The map, or the board, is the map of Whitechapel circa 1880s. Jack the Ripper fans can correct me. Yeah.
The late 1800s.
Yeah, but I think it's the 1880s or something like that. But there's about 195 different circles on the board. And basically the game is the player playing Jack chooses one of those circles to be his hideout. And that stays the same every...
London, 1888.
Oh, so close. 1880s. That was good. But yeah, Jack chooses one of those circles to be his hideout. And that stays the same for the rest of the game. Every night, there are 4 nights. Here's the difference between Fury of Dracula. You're working on a time limit, so there are 4 nights, there are 5 murders. How does that work? I'll explain in a minute. There are 4 nights, 5 murders. Every night, Jack has to successfully kill the person, which they do, and get back to their hideout without being caught or blocked from entrance. And they're on a time limit as well. If they can't get back to their hideout within a certain amount of moves, they've lost the game. The policemen have to find Jack through a secret movement, work out his trail, hopefully find his hideout or where his hideout generally is, and try and block him and or catch him. Now, it's, from what I've heard from talking to Sam, correct me if I'm wrong here, sir.
Hiya.
It seems a good deal simpler, at least, than than Fury of Dracula, which might be a turn off for some people.
No,
That, it's less complexity. So Jack has a couple of ways of getting. So he makes one move by secret movement, and he has a coach token where you can move two circles, and you can move through policemen.
Just to touch on that kind of quick. Simplicity, complexity thing there. Letters from Whitechapel is pure looking for that hidden movement character, and that's all you need to do. What Fury of Dracula adds to that is combat.
Okay.
So once you find that person, you then have to fight them. You don't just simply have to find them. It also adds items to pick up, and adds special roles as well. Actually, that people have different abilities they can do. So if you're looking for a bit more a complex game that I know a lot of people do like, then that's probably the game for you.
Yep,
But Letters from Whitechapel is beautiful.
I think it's good fun. There's an expansion coming out very soon called Dear Boss, because a lot of people either say it's too unbalanced one side or the other, so they've got ways to rebalance it.
Okay, I wouldn't see that, but that's fine.
I don't think they need it. I think it's a great game by itself. I really do.
But I would like to see what an expansion does add. I've played a fair bit of Letters from Whitechapel now. I've played
I've played a lot.
2 or 3 sessions of it, and when I say a session of it, I think we've had you get a couple of maybe 1 or 2 games in when you do play it. A game of it doesn't last particularly long. I reckon a game of Letters from Whitechapel would last about 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
What game of Letters from Whitechapel?
Yeah,
hour and a half.
You reckon?
2 hours, yeah.
I don't know.
I've played a fair bit of it. 45 minutes if you're lucky. Oh, if you're lucky. If the policemen are good or incompetent and Jack is really good, 45 minutes maybe. I've played a lot more Jack than I have policeman.
Is that because it's your game, really, and you just know those rules and explaining to someone else?
Sort of, yeah, but also it's one of the things that's suggested is the first player, or the more skilled player plays Jack, therefore it's a different set of rules, and therefore it can be...
You know those rules, it's quicker to get it on the table if you just take that role.
Yes.
But
I have been playing a lot more recently, playing the policeman, and you know what? I haven't played it in ages, and I think it's fucking excellent. I really like playing the policeman, and I think that's the joy of being Jack and sneaking about and going, oh, they're right in front of me. Oh, please move. Oh my god, they moved. Okay, gentle. Okay, keep it subtle, man. Keep it subtle, and then just move in. Fantastic. Playing the policeman, just like, oh, but he's over there, and right, okay, he was there. Okay, I think he's over there, and it turns out he is, and you're like, oh, Jack needs to be good all the time. The policeman needs to be lucky once, and they might have him.
Yes, true. Yeah. Again, it's one of those games where it comes right down to the nail at the last minute.
Yep. Although a
lot of it can.
It can.
It's great when it does. That's what the publisher wants. That's what the game designer wants. It wants it to be really close and nail-biting tension.
Oh,
we've had it when it was the last game I played of it where you were Jack, and it was to the point where you were in 2 squares of us or something, and we checked a tile, and then the next time you got home, and it was like, you checked that square.
Yep.
I was on the run right next to
Yep.
it. Like, you walked straight past me, and it's just like, and he's right next to you, but it's like, what space is it? And it's a glorious moment. Like, it's a great moment in gaming when you can have that tension, and it's almost better when it doesn't pay off if you get It's great when it does, but actually that kind of crushing disappointment of we were so close but we didn't get there is great.
I've played this a couple of times against my friend Campbell, who does something, whose job is something very similar to that. It's surveying areas. Oh, the tension! The last time I played Letters from Whitechapel, he was Jack the Ripper, and I tell you what, lucky we got him on the 3rd night. We found out where his general area was, and then we basically just blockaded. Was it 3rd night or 4th night? Either way, blockaded the area, and we're just like, "No way, man, you ain't getting in." And it was brilliant. And then I was playing against our friend recently. It was me and my girlfriend with the policeman, and our friend Ross was Jack the Ripper. The first move he made, I went, "Okay, I'm gonna search here," and he went, "I think he's here, but I'm gonna search." He went, "Yeah, I'm here." My girlfriend turned around to me and went, "You could have arrested him! We could have done it in the first turn!" And I went, "Yeah, we could have, but I'm sorry. It's more fun." He got away, and then this first night in the second turn, we got him.
Boom.
Boom.
So that's those two games, and that's what we've got to say on co-op games this week.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, I think there's co-op games co-op games are really, really good.
It's just that working together with people to achieve that goal, or working together to get that other player, I think really appeals to me. And you know, we mentioned it before, but a lot of co-op games are really, really tough games, and they really are a challenge. And that's what I love about it. You know, when you win a board game, you know, it's a good feeling. But actually, you know, you've beaten other people and you've all been doing the same thing. But really, when you beat the game, and it's a group achievement, and you beat a game that you might have played 5 times and not won, and then you finally beat that game. It's absolutely great, and that's why I love co-op games.
Oh, the satisfaction is all sweeter by the fact that you all did it together.
So now we're going to go into our last section, that is Pandemic.
Oh, Pandemic.
Let's see what we've got this week. So, Jamie, we've got a joke for me?
I have, Sam, yes.
Go for it.
Right, okay. So, actually, there was a story in the news recently about, it was a place in China. It was, you know, China. All hail the new president.
Amazing.
Panda rescue center has been inundated with orphan baby pandas. Mm-hmm. So much so, and you know they're franchising it out. They're selling copies of Takenoko.
Yeah.
Except no one's really buying it because it's not in Chinese. So they're really saying they've got a pandemic.
Boom.
I could have told that a lot better.
I like it. You know, it wasn't bad. It works on multiple levels. You know, it's a pandemic because you got more.
Yeah, I could have told that a lot better.
Was it like a panda-emic?
Panda-emic, yeah.
Panda-emic. It was good. I've got a topical one. Again, it's really not great. It isn't.
Go
it
on.
Isn't
go
worker
on.
placement.
Please, come on.
Last
it's not
week's was great.
It's not the level of worker placement.
See, I don't know how to phrase it. That's the thing. I've got like a vague setup and a vague punchline. It's just how you get from A to B.
Yep.
All I've got are the two phrases. Like it's. Right. Let's see. Right. I'm gonna pause the recording and then come back when I've got. Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna really think about this. No, I can't think of anything. Right, here it is then. It's.
Go on, Sam.
We might be able to work on it to make it better.
We'll work on it, but
the generalness is what is Donald Trump's favourite board game.
I do not know. What is Donald Trump's favourite board game?
And then I had King of New York. Now.
That's funny, but it's also...
But, you know, it needs work.
That's fine.
It needs, like, a better setup.
Yeah.
I don't know if King of New York needs to be... Or it's... something along the lines of... So, do you hear about the new Yellow expansion?
No.
It's a Donald Trump expansion for King of New York.
Uh-huh.
See, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what it needs. There's something there.
People make this look easy. This is not easy.
There's something there. If you can come up with something... If you can fix my joke, send an email to meeplepeople.podcast@gmail.com. Leave a comment on Facebook at meeplepeople.podcast. We've live streamed this one. It's been great fun. I reckon we're going to live stream all of the podcasts now. Why not? It's no additional effort, to be honest.
As best we can, yeah. I think it's been good fun. I have got one to salvage it just before the end.
Go for it.
He doesn't know who this person is, but why can't Rob Liefeld play Go again. Come on. Why can't Rob Liefeld play Dominion?
Why?
He doesn't know how to draw.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. I've
been
Sam.
And I continue to be Jamie.
We're Meeple People, and this is the Meeple People podcast. Thank you to you guys on Facebook who have joined us. If you go to Facebook and watch the live video, it is longer than this podcast.
Yes.
But it's kind of like an extended cut, I suppose. There's little bits in between.
We said we were going to do one take for everything. We've generally done not bad, but
it's been good.
It's been very good. So have a little look if you feel like it.
Give us a like on Facebook.
Yep.
Share this round.
And for those of you who are on the live stream, at whatever point you were on, thank you for watching. For those of you who are listening, thank you very, very much for listening.
Remember to check us out on YouTube, Facebook. Get in touch with us at meeplepeople.podcast @gmail.com if you like what we're saying. If you don't, if you think what we're talking is absolute bollocks. Thank you very much.
If you've got any good jokes, send them in. Take care, y'all.
See you soon.
Hey. Football.